real unfortunate here. You can see my mirror is missing parts of its mirror and this back piece. So I'm driving down the street before and guy dead stops in front of me. Well, pretty much in front of me, kind of like turning, but full stop on a highway, pretty much on like a 45-mile-an-hour road. So I do a inch into the other lane, just a very little bit, just enough for my mirror to be in the other lane, just to not, hit this guy, because he, stopped out of nowhere. I'm sure I'm at fault there a little bit, so I just kind of let it go, and I got my mirror hit by a dump truck. Yes, you heard that right, a dump truck. And from what I can tell, there's no actual other damage besides just missing this guy and missing this guy over here. But it doesn't actually look broken. They just look like they got popped off. So this one is MIA. I saw it, but it was broken. The glass is gone and broken. This piece, I turned around and went and got, and it is actually pretty much unscathed. None of the clips are broken off. I'll tell you that, made in China, plastic. Pretty tough stuff, so see if it'll go back on. Now, at least it'll look good from the front still. Look at that. Now I just need the little mirror here. Just kind of ruin these connectors a little bit, but not too bad. Yeah, so if anybody knows where I can get this mirror, right here. It looks a lot like the one on the passenger side, except on there and, for the driver's side. So yeah, watch out for dump trucks, guys. Thankfully it was just the mirror. The rest of the car is unscathed. He pulled over, he talked to me, and I looked at it and I said, it's fine, man, it's just a mirror. We were both at fault, and he knew he was slightly at fault, I knew I was slightly at fault, so we just walked away from it. So, just need a new glass. Thankfully this didn't get run over, but I'm happy with that. That's really not too bad. What is going on, guys? Back in the garage today, and we are diving into why the Camaro doesn't want to cooperate. So I got a bunch of different stuff to put onto it. I ditched all of my old plug wires because they were ripped up and destroyed, and mainly it's because of this tool right here. I put a bunch of holes in them, so we were losing spark. It was trying to find its easiest way to go, and its easiest way to go was to the block instead of to the spark plugs. So I'm thinking that's a big part of it. This is the tool I was using, but I put tape on it until I get my new tool. And while I was up at Induction Performance, I got their new coil mounting kit. This thing is so cool. I didn't even know they were coming out with this, but it makes it so easy and so much nicer to pull your spark plugs out. Nothing wrong with the old kit. For normal everyday use, this kit is perfect. But if you're like me and you check your spark plugs a little more frequently and you're changing plugs a little more frequently than like your typical street Supra, this is probably the best one for you. I love this one. It's been great, but it's a bunch of Allen keys to get it off, and you have to take this whole thing off to do your plug wires. So they came out with this kit, and look at that, it's got little buttons. So all of your coils will be on this, and then you just put it on these posts that I already installed, like that. Click it down, and look at that. So it's on these posts right here. So to take it all off and get your spark plugs out, still haven't adjusted them fully yet, but you just kind of pop these buttons and then the whole thing comes off. So instead of having Allen keys and possibly losing the Allen headed bolts and stuff, you just push it down with your finger. That makes it 1,000 times easier to service. So all of my spark plug changing and stuff will be very easy to deal with now. I'm so happy to try this out because this is, from what I know, the first one on a customer car. So that's really cool. And it's gonna look pretty much the same, except you get your two little buttons here. So very cool stuff. Check out inductionperformance.com for this because you can get the whole kit. It comes with the connectors. It comes with everything you would need to make this work on your 2J. And call them up if you have different valve covers because they've tested them out on a bunch of different valve covers. So I'm gonna get that all done, put the new plug wires on, and I'll show you guys the old ones that we were having problems with. It's definitely on me. You can see these are not old ones. These are a backup set. These are the old ones. You can see right here, we tried to keep the spark in, but you can see where it's coming out. So that was most likely our issue. I put holes in these trying to pull them out because they're very difficult without the right tool. And I just didn't realize I didn't have the right tool. See, they're trying to blow the spark out. We tried to wrap them in electrical tape. Did not work. Yeah, so this is probably why it's misfiring. This one was probably good. So it was probably misfiring on 3 cylinders, if I were to guess. That was on me, 100%. I had this tool. It was very sharp, and when you try to pull them out, I didn't even realize, but it was like kind of ripping the boots, and it was my fault. So I got some fresh plugs, gonna put all this stuff in, and then I also, for good measure, pulled my injectors out and had them cleaned by my buddies over at Boost Lab. Oh, let's hop over to Boost Lab right now. All right, so we pulled out the injectors and brought them over to the guys over at Boost Lab, local place, and they are going to flow check them, see what they're looking like, and then we can kind of go from there. They may be good, and that says that my problems are elsewhere, which is just a good thing to rule out, to quickly be able to just put them on the flow checker here. So very awesome to have a local company here to do this.
The coil open and the coil basically energized and not energized.
Yep.
So I mean they're within 0.1 point of each other. So I mean so far so good.
That's a good sign right there.
And then we'll go ahead and set the pressure. What's your base fuel pressure?
It's like 50.
50. Okay. Keep that 50 there.
Look at that pulsing them. They have a little bit different of a pattern.
Yeah, and that's
pretty normal, or
pretty normal for these because you see the tips. These
yeah.
are mimicking the ID 2000s, which was a CNG injector originally. But these are compatible with all types of fuel, so it's not using the same internals with the same style of tip. And then for reference, like you see, like on the ID 1700s and the 1000s, that's the ball and seat that you normally see.
And this is a big injector, so they are.
Yeah.
You got to service them a little bit more. They're moving some fuel.
Yeah. Let's see, I might have to lower the pressure a little bit because it's bubbling out on the top a little bit. So let's see where this ends up after it settles.
And that acts a little different than like a fuel would, where like it bubbles, right? Or
yeah.
well, there's no pressure, like it's not under boost,
exactly.
So it doesn't atomize like a. Yeah. Well, I mean that was all even. That's good.
And we got this guy right here,
pretty
just
close
a
to
little
even.
down.
Yeah.
Well, let me just go ahead and lower the pressure real quick, and we'll try it at 43.
Yeah, very cool to be able to just check these real quick to rule out a problem. It's like perfect pressure now.
Yeah.
It's even cool just to see them work because, you know, you put them in a car and you never actually see them do anything.
Oh, yeah.
They're just doing it.
Yeah, it's all magic in the intake manifold.
Yeah. You just never even think about them once you put them in.
Yeah. I mean, from seeing here, I'm not seeing an issue with them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Like, rough calculation, of course, the type of fluid that we use here is going to be a little bit different than the like fuel you would have in a vehicle. But I mean, we're spraying right at 260 pounds per hour.
Which is exactly what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great sign. That just means that I have to tear into something else.
Yeah, good and bad, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which I was really thinking it was a spark issue, but I didn't want to keep running the car if it was a fuel issue too.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can hyper focus on spark instead of fuel, which awesome. Well, thank you for checking these. I am very happy with that because I did not want to have to deal with messing with the injectors too much.
Yeah,
so
no,
for the
be good to go.
20 minutes it takes to pull them out and put them back in, this is definitely something I should be doing more often.
Vape out.
All right, we're gonna pulse the injectors on a cycle.
So that last run was at 5,000 RPMs.
Oh wow.
So you can only imagine, like, when you're, I think you're revving out, it's like 8,000,
Yeah,
8,500?
like 8, almost 9-ish.
Yeah, so imagine that, almost double. So.
Yeah, these little guys are working hard to keep the engine going.
Yeah.
Huge thank you to those guys. They got me in there right away. Checked them out for me, made sure they were good just to cover all bases. I was already going up that way, so I figured I would just do it. It only takes me a couple minutes to pull these out, and it's just it's good practice to just, you know, check your injectors every now and then. So we're gonna put these new injectors in, put the new wires on, make sure that there's dielectric grease on the wire ends on the spark plugs. That was an issue. I did not have that on before. That was also on me. I should have put that on. And then we will be rocking and rolling, I think. I'm gonna try to make it to a test session this week. Hopefully that this fixes our problem. Well, the car is back together. Injectors are in, all plugged back up. This fresh bracket is on there and it looks so awesome. Super easy to just pop off. Not with my left hand, of course, but very easy to just pop off. So much easier than fiddling with a bunch of Allen headed bolts and having an Allen key with you or whatever it takes. You just pop those on and they are secure. That is so much nicer. And it even gaps it a little bit so that these longer plug wires can kind of fit. And then I can use all the same plug wires and they fit nicely. So that's really cool too. This car just became a lot more serviceable and a lot easier to service. It is a little late right now because I was running around all day and I even went and hung out with Boosted Boy Kyle and old Wyatt for a little while because I was up in their neck of the woods. And I do not want to start it right now in my neighborhood and cruise around and diagnose stuff because I want to go take it out tomorrow. And so I will see you guys first thing tomorrow morning. Well, what is going on, guys? Late start to this morning. Got the dogs here. It is not even morning anymore. What time is it? It's freaking 3:30 right now. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I just spent the last 4 hours doing a online school for drivers' safety because I got a speeding ticket a few months back in the CTSV wagon. Unfortunately, I was going like 15 over in a 60-mile-an-hour speed zone, so it really was not going that fast. But to help keep points off my license, I had to do a 4-hour course, take a bunch of quizzes, all this stuff, but I passed, so that's good. Ironically, I had to do that today after yesterday I had just damaged the mirror on my truck, being reckless. Not really, but kind of. Very unfortunate. Also, as I was putting the dogs away, I came across a very large anthill. So I've been kind of just burning them lately because I keep coming across these huge anthills. So I pour a bunch of fine 93 on there and just let them burn a little bit. So this one's cooking. I may have used too much, but I'd rather use too much than too little. The last one I did really didn't destroy the grass almost at all. This one may be a little different, but the last one I burned was like right there and it went for like maybe 45 minutes. This one is just burning some dead leaves. And it's doing pretty good. It's very hot. But it definitely kills the ants good, and the gasoline should burn off enough to where it's safe for Henry, because ideally it all burns off. That spot looks fine. I'll show you guys an up close on this spot. This was a huge anthill like a week ago, and it's all gone now. Now that one was getting pretty big, so I'd rather get it now. Because if you don't know, these Florida fire ants are pretty serious. And I don't want to use any harsh chemicals to kill them. I know 93 is not exactly a non-harsh chemical, but it's better than some of the alternatives. Well, after last night's tune-up, it is sounding a lot healthier. You guys can, it honestly sounds a lot different on camera, so once I rewatch this footage, I can usually tell if there's a misfire, but audibly from here, it sounds so much better. It is definitely healthier. It's definitely not misfiring right now from what I can hear. Very excited now to get it to the track, or anywhere really, and test out my 60-foot. Unfortunately, with a car like this, I can't just go drive it and test out, you know, the trans brake randomly on the street. Like, it has to be in a somewhat controlled environment. It sounds so much happier though. Fresh injectors, fresh plugs, bunch of different stuff, so it's definitely a lot better. Fresh plug wires. Check the transmission fluid while it was running just now, and the transmission fluid, it smells a little burnty, but not anything bad. It's pretty normal to have it smell a little burnt. It wasn't low or anything. And with a power glide, you have to check it while it's running. But yeah, that's awesome, guys. I think we're back. So much happier right now. That's awesome. I can't hear anything. This thing is so loud. Turbos are spinning. I don't think my neighbors were prepared for all that horsepower. It happens. Hate to break it to you. So it looks like I'll be trying to get to the track this Friday morning for a test session, and then I'll be able to go there, test my launch, see if it leaves right, and then tuner said just send it. He's pretty confident that it was just a simple issue like that, and once we fix that, it's resolved. I also, big one, I put dielectric grease on all the spark plugs, so that should help a lot with directing the spark to the correct place. That's definitely an important one. I just have to talk about this one more time. How cool is this? Freaking buttons that make it pop off, and you can just remove all of the spark plugs with a simple deal, and then it keeps it sturdy. Induction performance just went above and beyond on this freaking awesome piece. Help me get the car diagnosed. A lot of changes coming for this car soon, but I really want to make sure it's still running and driving good before we do anything crazy. So definitely stay tuned for a lot of changes coming to this car because, you know, gotta try to stay competitive in this class. And I know you guys are gonna say, oh, dial it in before it's making changes. I need more safety. I need it. So I have to make changes. Stay tuned for all the cool stuff happening with this unit very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Next video, hopefully you will see we are at the racetrack tearing it up, or we will be at the racetrack looking disappointed, but you know, regardless, I'm going to be smiling because I get to work on this car, sometimes that car, every single day, and I just enjoy the heck out of it. So thank you guys for watching. Keep it saucy. I'll see you next time.